pace car is off, and the Daredevils are on the move in Chicagoland. Thinking about 3 wide, just inside of the top 5. Thinking better of it, though.
Well, I think we're going to think about 3 wide a lot here tonight. You have that progressive banking here at Chicagoland, so you can use pretty much any lane of the racetrack that you would like to. We're flirting with the outside wall early on here.
Oh, Ryan Dye flirting with the apron there on core entry.
Oh!
Oh, boy!
Contact! Oh!
That's a big one. That is the end of several drivers' races for sure. Short, White, Wagner, Engrave, Aldrich, DeMade, Rutherfords, both Corey and Joshua, Kresge, Claiborne, Zachary Flaum. Mother of Pearl.
Mother of Pearl is right. And there's just a little bit, I can't tell if it's netcode or actual contact, between Short's front left tire and the right rear of Wagner. And that sends Short up into the wall, and then Wagner right up into Drew White. And that is going to... Oh, my. I did not see all of this the first time around. That sends everybody just absolutely sprawled all over the place. And Dakota DeMade is right in the middle of this thing. Everybody tries to go low to avoid, but there is just not enough real estate for 4 or 5 cars to squeeze through there. So that's where a lot of our drivers are going to end up actually getting taken out here.
12 out of 18. That is the number of cars that are involved in this accident.
That's a lot of drivers.
James Watson and Nicholas Isidro looking pretty primo at this point. They restart first and second. We're back underway on lap 24.
You mentioned at the top of this race that anybody that lines up here tonight has a shot. Well, I tell you, anybody still driving really has a shot now.
Yes.
I mean, this is absolutely anybody's race to win.
Close quarters. I think we're coming up on lap car Corey Rutherford. Oh! We're not going to make it there. Oh, boy.
Oh, massive, massive netcode. Isidro was trying to, use more of the bottom of the racetrack than he had been before, and there was a good couple feet in between him and Poliski, and it sent all of them for a ride. He's really pinching hard here.
Oh, man! Dye doing everything he can to try and get up and into the lead.
And nearly wheels touching.
To the line one more time around. Flaum up to the outside, back down to the bottom. He'll have a big run here. Nowhere to go with it. He's boxed in. Dye with a surge on the outside. Locking wheels so tight.
Oh,
they touch! Watson, Dye loose! Flaum underneath! Zachary Flaum steals the win at Chicagoland! Zachary Flaum does it! After getting robbed at Pocono, it's 20 to P1 on the final corner. Heartbreak for James Watson, who has come so close so many times this season. He will finish runner-up. He'll be in the points lead. Ryan Dye will finish in third, but Zachary Flaum burning it down. I think everybody that is not named Zachary Flaum would like to forget that last week even happened. And the first step in the healing process will be a race under the lights at the World Center of Racing. No, not around the oval, but instead at the 3.56-mile infield road course. Round number 8 of the 3rd season of the Daredevil series is here under the lights at Daytona. The first and possibly only ever Nighttime road course race in series history is what we've got in store for you here tonight on Turn 200. Howdy, folks. My name is Tommy Cook. My partner Matt Williamson will be along momentarily. Man, last week was a disappointment, but it's not any of the drivers' fault. A lot of netcode to be had. We hope to change the rhetoric and narrative here tonight as we get ready for what could be the most interesting road course race in the series history, not just because it's a nighttime track, not just because it's a super speedway roval, but because this has the potential of being a multi-stop race, depending on how these drivers operate their machinery here tonight. We've never had a multi-stop road course race before in series history, so all bets are off. All things are on the table in terms of possibilities here tonight, as they always are in the Daredevil series. One thing is for sure, the points got a good old shaking last week, as the original points leader heading into Chicagoland, Christopher Hill, was not there. So all James Watson needed to do was finish in the top 4, and he was going to walk out of Chicagoland with the points lead. Spoiler alert. Only 4 cars finished that race, and James Watson was one of them. So he absolutely left with the points lead. It was not a good night for Nicholas Isidro. Got caught up in the second accident of the night. So he is now 1,000 points behind James Watson. But Christopher Hill should be back here tonight and should be the favorite to win this race, dare I say. Has won one of the 2 road courses already this season. Hunter Engrave will be tough to beat. He needs a big bounce back after another early exit last week down there in the 7th position in points. But a win tonight could put him right back in the hunt for the championship. And you see Zachary Flaum, he's another road course guy. He's down there in 8th. Going 2 in a row could mean big things here for Zachary Flaum. And the other thing we'd like to touch base on before we pack it up and send it right into the live action is the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge. As you can imagine, in a race where only 4 drivers finished, we did not have a lot of entries into the pot, but we actually did, against hope, have 3 drivers out of the 4 that finished on the lead lap. Finished with a 0X, Christian Arribas, James Watson, and Ryan Dye. All have been entered into the pot. It is the first entry for James Watson. It's the second entry for Christian Arribas, and it's the third entry for Ryan Dye. Ryan Dye now becomes the first driver that could potentially win all the money by himself. There will be 1 grand prize winner that takes half of this pot. The other half will be chopped in half again and shipped off as secondary prizes, if you will. But 1 driver with multiple entries could potentially win all 3 portions of the pot and then just take the whole thing for themselves. And it's all possible thanks to our friends at Jacksonville Speedway, who are hopefully back on DIRTVIsion this Friday night after a couple of weather events have canceled the last 2 races. They should be in action with multiple classes again on DIRTVIsion this Friday. Glad to hear it. High speeds, limited space, tight turns, and above all else, victory on the line here tonight at Daytona in the Daredevil series. Round number 8 of the 3rd season is around the turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Broken art I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
This is the Daredevil series from the Daytona Road Course, only on Turn 200.
Oh, man, it's great to be back here on Wednesday. Doing the left and rights here tonight. Daytona Road Course on tap for 30 laps for the Daredevils. Matt Williamson, welcome in. You've been getting a good look at practice here. What are you taking away from watching the Lotus 79 scream around the high banks of Daytona?
Well, it's been really fun to watch, and I think it sets up for some really spectacular racing here. We're going to watch a couple of our drivers. We're actually in qualifying now. They're on their out laps right now, so nobody has actually taken the green flag. But, I mean, it's going to be all out here. These cars just navigate the turns here really well. I think one trouble spot could potentially be the bus stop, and somebody is in the wall off of turn 4, or oval turn 4, I guess that should be. It's Sean Begley.
And let's go ahead and ride with Martin Camano. He was second quickest in practice. He'll give you the lay of the land here. A lap around Daytona Road Course. Maybe locked him up big time there into turn 1. And that is a big trouble spot in my opinion. Always hard to judge where you have to brake. But now he is coming through the International Horseshoe. Big right-hand hairpin. Up through the gears and all out around the dogleg. Sweeping left, then hard on the brakes here to try and get around the other horseshoe, the West Horseshoe.
I think that West Horseshoe is sneaky tricky as well.
Absolutely. This is the transition from the infield into the oval. That's an off-camber transition there. So hard to get back on the throttle and keep the rear tires in check. But once you do, if you're able to carry a lot of speed, you'll be carrying it all the way through oval turns 1 and 2. That is turns 8 and 9 on the track layout. Flat out all the way until about marker number 2 there up in the catch fence. Then hard on the brakes into the Le Mans chicane.
Camano, he blasted it all the way to marker number 1 before he even thought about stopping.
A lot braver than I am, that's for sure. And so he's gone wide at a couple of points in this lap. We'll see how generous iRacing is feeling with their track limits. But now back through the tri-oval to the start-finish line. And Camano will post a time of 1:38.125. That is a little bit slower than what he was putting up in practice. Javier Mascara right now is half a second quicker than he went in practice. He's got the top time.
He's got the top time. We're going to watch Matthew Short take a lap around here. This is his second lap. Currently in 5th right now.
And he didn't give us a pick this week. Unfortunately.
Well, I might have to think of something for him.
Oh, I'm sure he'll love that. I'd mentioned in the intro earlier that Christopher Hill would be back on his horse here tonight and gunning to get the points lead back. He's not here. He did not end up showing up. He does have a couple of minutes to get in here, but he'll be doing it with no practice and assuming no qualifying time either. So if he were to show up in the closing minutes, it's going to be an uphill battle, but not one that he can't overcome.
Whoa, big problem here for Kirk Lane. We were watching coming out of the bus stop. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he just went straight into the wall. Like, didn't even try to make the left-hand turn to get back onto the oval. Very interesting. Oh, Watson looked like he dipped the tire off, and he did. He's going to get a 1X, and he just quits right there.
So
Watson,
that'll be the end. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Watson's, was in 3rd. He's now gotten moved down to 4th, but that will end his run.
Zachary Flaum, I believe, was the one who bumped him. So last week's winner at Chicagoland, doing pretty good. And, hey, there goes Hunter Engrave to the top of the board. 136.225 for driver number 7.
Always a favorite and always a powerhouse here on the road courses for Hunter Engrave.
It wouldn't be his first win in the Daredevil series this season. It wouldn't even be his first win on the channel this week. Engrave, a winner in Truck 200 practice race competition at Auto Club, and would be one of maybe the only driver ever to win 2 races on the channel in the same week, now that I think about it. He is certainly, with Christopher Hill not here, Engrave is the favorite, but Mascara, Camano, and Zachary Flaum all with some pretty close times here. And it's Daytona.
Whoa, Engrave really sliding it through the bus stop there. And he actually comes to a stop. He must have gotten a 1X through that bus stop at some point. And I believe that's everybody to qualify. The only one that hasn't is Christian Arribas.
Peter
Arribas
Donchek, I think, is working
track.
on his second lap. No, Christian Arribas, I believe, actually hit in qualifying rather quickly, so he didn't want to put up a lap.
Well, there's a couple drivers on the track still, but I think they're just getting some extra practice in here. Donchek, it's showing me this is actually his 3rd lap. And Poliski is working on his 3rd lap as well.
Nothing wrong with a little extra practice. So as our qualifying is winding down here, why don't we get the lay of the land from the one and only Matt Williamson? What's the strategy here tonight? What's the track conditions looking like as the lights, or the sun rather, continues to go down and eventually the lights will come on?
Well, we'll take a look at the track temperature here. As you mentioned it, the sun is going to continue to go down, so it's only going to get cooler, most likely. 89 degrees on the track temperature right now, so already in pristine condition. It's only going to get better here for the drivers as we continue through the night, or through the evening, I should say. Fuel window tonight is it's an interesting number. We are, I'm going to say, probably 13 to 15 laps. We are at a 30-lap race tonight, but I'm not sure they can make it the full 15. It might be more like 14 plus an extra couple corners. So I think stretching it to 15 to have a one-stop race is pretty gutsy. I'm not sure the drivers will be able to do it. I'm thinking it's going to be a splash of fuel at some point towards the end of the race for some of our drivers here tonight. On top of that, unlimited tires, 0 fast repairs as always, and we've seen 1Xs from a lot of our drivers here tonight in qualifying. You have to keep an eye on that because there are limits. It's an 18X drive-through penalty. 25 incident points will get you kicked out and disqualified, so you have to be careful.
And we have only seen one driver pick up a drive-through all season long. Nobody has been disqualified yet. Tonight is rife with danger. To just dip a wheel. A couple of the runoff areas are pretty generous by not picking up 1Xs, but man, contact is always a possibility, and all these drivers need to have their heads on a swivel, especially as the run goes on. We talk about not taking tires a lot in some of these one-stop races. Tires absolutely on the menu here tonight. I'm sure these drivers are thinking the lucky stars that they are unlimited. These rear tires will get hot and feisty by the end of this race. And here we go. Hunter Engrave with his 3rd career Daredevil Series pole, his 2nd in a row, hoping to make it a lot further in this race than he did at Chicagoland last week, but we're not going to talk about that. Great to have Javier Mascara back in the field here tonight. He will line up on the outside of the front row. Row number 2, Martin Camano. I see that he has got some support in the chat already from Flagman and Ali Pedas. So the 27 on the inside of row number 2. Zachary Flaum, last week's winner, lines up in P4. Your new points leader, James Watson, is on the inside of row number 3. Matthew Short will line up to his outside in 6. Dakota DeMade, then the Season 1 champion, on the inside of the 4th row. Cody Claiborne lines up to his outside. Kirk Lane back in the field tonight as well. He is in the 9th starting spot. And Christopher Kresge rounds out your top 10 starters. Leading newcomer contender in the point standings, Ryan Dye will roll off in 11th. Paul Ellison finished the race last week. That's something a lot of drivers could not say. He will rather start in the 12th position. Matt Schlosser, after his debut last week, will line up in 13th. Same for Joshua Rutherford. He is in 14th. Nicholas Isidro, third in the points, deep in the field to start this one, 15th for him. Steve Roman will roll off in 16th. Corey Rutherford, Austin Lafferty, and Peter Donchak, the 19 drivers to take a time. Then it is Sean Begley back tonight as well. Andy Poliski, 21st. And Christian Erebus, 4th place finish for him last week. He will start in 22nd tonight.
Alrighty, and if you haven't figured it out, we are gridding on the backstretch just before the bus stop. So we will be going green here pretty shortly. I think this is exactly the spot that Hunter Engrave wants to be in. A bit of bad luck on the last road course race at Suzuka. He's looking to kind of get one back on the rest of the field and come out here and take a win here at Daytona.
Some drivers still getting into positions here. Pace truck is hanging a left. Hunter Engrave, Javier Mascara, and the Daredevils are on the move at Daytona. Barreling towards the hard left-hander. Wow, some drivers send it further than others. We're going to make it through turn one without incident, but how much further can we go? Engrave in control. The International Horseshoe could spell trouble for some drivers. Pretty clean.
Up to this point, don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Yes. Absolutely not. Oh, a little lockup there from Engrave.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh! Nicholas Isidro just went flying off the track. Lafferty and Rutherford, Joshua Rutherford that is, get collected. Oh man.
I think Christopher Kresge had a problem there into that right-hander as well. Donchak has gone around at some point here. Matt Short looking to get around Mascara right now. That would be for third. He'll be on the outside into the bus stop.
Short looking to get it done. An aggressive move.
He completes it, though.
Using it all. Hunter Engrave dipped the tire into the grass through the bus stop as well. Zachary Flaum is up to second. Matt Short is up to third. And look at this mess for fourth.
Oh, my.
This is going to get ugly.
Claiborne's inserted himself here.
3 wide through the tri-oval. Look out. Here comes the braking zone. Claiborne sails it through. Cody Claiborne makes it stick. The 31 is up to third. What a move. Side by side. Teammates for fourth. Short and Watson. Boy, oh boy. Not done yet.
Watson dipped it into the grass for a second. Does a good job of keeping it clean so far. Still side by side with Matt Short.
Short going to be on the inside of the dog leg. Watson going to try and work to his outside. He's going to give it up. Camano through the grass. Locks it down. Still a little bit out of shape. He's going to lose a ton of spots here, but should be able to get it back on the track. He's able to do so safely, and does.
Single file here. Now I want to go back and look at what happened to Nicholas Isidro here.
Yes.
You called it out big time. Oh. And he gets super loose off the rumble strips on the outside. It just kicks him straight left. Just no grip out there. Spins him to the left, right into the wall. Mascara trying to get past Watson here. This would be for the 5th spot.
And the slide for Camano at the end of it all, he will come out in the 14th position. So some work to do for driver number 27.
Put in a lot of great practice laps, so he's going to look to work his way through the field here.
And with 2 stops, that should open up some strategy for these drivers to try some different things. So lights start to brighten a little bit around the track here. Nicholas Isidro, unfortunately, has disconnected from the session.
Oh.
Man, it...
Paul Ellison's around.
Paul Ellison! Ellison going to try and bring it back on the track. It will do so.
Lafferty and Corey Rutherford were battling just in front of him. Lafferty gets the best of the 5:55 for right now.
Oh, Cody Claiborne is around out of the bus stop. He was just pulling up to make a challenge on Zachary Flaum. I think maybe got a little bit too much over that curb. And that curb is bumpy. It'll send this flat bottom car spinning around. And it did.
Well, that's kind of almost exactly what happened to Isidro as well, just in a different part of the track. And you're right, trying to veer to the left to get back on the banking, goes over that rumble strip, the bumps on it, just upsets the car. And he goes for a spin. He's going to drop back to 9th here. And he was looking to make a move for 2nd when it happened.
Last lap for Hunter Engrave, the purple lap of the session, 136.530. He has got a comfortable lead right now over Zachary Flaum. Flaum well ahead of Matthew Short, who rides in 3rd. James Watson, Javier Mascara, your top 5. Actually, Short has dropped back a couple of spots. What has happened to Matthew Short here? He's back to 5th now. Watson and Mascara have both gotten through. Oh, problems for Martin Camano, I do believe. He just had a 2X, but is still rolling.
Kirk Lane has caught up to Dakota DeMade in a couple of spots here throughout the track. Then he falls back, and now he's right back to it again. Of course, he is in draft mode right here, looking to get past the 82.
Fifth gear on these cars, which you will get up through on the oval. A lot lower than maybe a lot of these drivers would tune it if they were making the setup themselves, to encourage a lot of passing here on the oval, and we've seen quite a bit of it already.
Oh, and I think Christopher Kresge has gone around again. Kresge had some problems earlier.
Kresge has definitely dropped a couple of spots here, right in behind Ryan Dye right now, I believe in spot number 10. Man, these cars screaming around Daytona is awesome.
It is a great track for these cars. The kind of speed they carry through the corners is just almost unmatched.
Almost unmatched. We will match and exceed here in a few weeks. This is road course number 3 of 4 on the season.
Here goes Mascara. Mascara around Watson in the oval.
Javier. A deep send, a little wiggle there from the rears, but he gets the pass done.
In third, back to seventh, are still pretty much all right here together.
Mascara, Watson short, DeMade, and Kirk Lane up in seventh. You're right, they're all within a second and a half of one another. Almost everybody on the track that last time around set their green lap of the race.
DeMade, he really nearly locked it up there into that right-hander. Went way wide. You mentioned Camano's had a couple of problems. He's working his way back through the field in 12th right now.
Oh, problems for Paul Ellison. I think he just spun it around on the transition from the infield to the oval, but didn't hit anything, so that'll be all right.
There's a big, I shouldn't say a big group, but a nice little grouping of cars right in front of Camano. This is a battle for ninth. Ryan Dye, Christopher Kresge, Matt Schlosser all here together. And Kresge looking to get around Ryan Dye. We've seen a lot of passes on the outside of the oval.
Problems in the bus stop. Joshua Rutherford, Paul Ellison, and Steve Froman have gotten together.
Kresge completes that pass on Dye for now. Vroman was still really slow here just a second ago. Oh, and Vroman, he the same fate there coming out of the bus stop. Those rumble strips on the inside, he hit those. And then Rutherford, this is Corey. He goes around. I believe that would be turn number 3 or 4.
Yes, through the International Horseshoe. Zachary Flaum and Kirk Lane both just dipped tires off through the bus stop. So those two trying to maximize their time.
So Mascara now has a pretty healthy lead on Watson. All of these drivers still pretty close, though. Mascara, Watson short, DeMade, and Kirk Lane, 3rd through 7th. Any little mistake from one of them could potentially end up a pass for position.
Mascara might be on offense right now. He was about 0.6 quicker than Zachary Flaum was that last time around. And that gap is right about a second and a half. Actually, it's under a second now. Mascara is really reeling into 20 rather quickly.
Big group of cars here. This is a fight for 10th. Ryan Dye, Schlosser, and Camano all here together still.
Yeah, Camano is still on the march here. He is still putting in some blistering laps.
See Schlosser in front of him trying to break the draft a bit, but also trying to keep the draft with Ryan Dye as well.
Shuts the door, getting ready to brake. Camano gives some extra space here into the bus stop. It's good to see Matt Schlosser after Chicagoland happened last week. Back at it again with us here tonight.
Here we go, Mascara. He is right here into turn 1, right behind Flaum.
Schlosser thought about another move there, decides not to. And Camano now will have to deal with Ryan Dye. See how they sort themselves out here into turn 1. Dye will actually yield to Schlosser as well. I think Christopher Kresge just went out way wide. He went from 9th to 13th in turn 1. So Hunter Engrave on cruise control right now, 8-second advantage over Zachary Flaum, who is about to have his hands full with Javier Mascara. 017 is in the draft and closing quickly here as we approach the bus stop. Making the move to the inside. Sails it into the braking zone. What a power move there for Javier, and now he is up to P2. But Flaum will have the draft now through 3 and 4. DRS is open, says Zachary Flaum. He goes back to the outside. It's going to be a game of chicken here into turn number 1. Side by side for second. Mascara hangs on to it. Both the car and the position. Oh, problems into the first turn. Rutherford, DeMade, and Lane have gotten together.
Mascara's around as well.
Oh, man.
Mascara looped it around in the horseshoe. Flaum, Watson, and Short all get through.
Big problems for Dakota DeMade. That car is looking hurt. No meatball flag. But having a hard time getting this one back up to speed. Lots to look at here. As, I think Claiborne and Kirk Lane have just gotten together now in the West Horseshoe. Things going bad to worse for Kirk Lane just in this lap.
Yeah, and Dakota DeMade loops it around into 1. And a little bit of netcode contact with another car. Then when he tries to get going again, he loops it again. Has to back up one more time. Here's incident. That's Claiborne and Kirk Lane. Lane gets punted to the outside. Oh my goodness, a lot of action here.
When it rains, it pours. Did we ever see what happened to Mascara?
Yeah, we were on Mascara when he went around, actually. We can take another look at it here. When he went into that horseshoe, just loops it around on his own. He goes way wide to try to get a good angle, and on entry, it just steps out on him. He's never able to get it back in step. Loops it around into the grass. Has a little bit of a hard time getting it going again, but does. But he moves back to 5th, loses 3 positions. Just after he had passed Zach Flaum.
So move Flaum back up to 2nd. James Watson is now in 3rd. Matthew Short is back up to 4th. Mascara 5th. Claiborne 6th. Camano in 7th. Kirk Lane in 8th. Matt Schlosser in 9th. And Dakota DeMade is back to the 10th position. Oh, and I think DeMade is just dipped a tire off, but is still on the track. So just trying to maximize track limits here with an ailing race vehicle. And Sean Begley is pulling up to the back of this 82 now.
James Watson, we might have another battle for 2nd here before too long. He is trying to reel in the 20. He's doing it slowly, but he is doing it.
And I think he is in draft range here. It's about 1 second, and he is about 7/10 behind Flaum as they work through 3 and 4. Oval 3 and 4, that is.
Seeing DeMade off track again.
Yes, I believe so. He just towed back to the pits. So, big problems here on the 82.
Oh, wow, he gets way out of shape. He might have even hit the outside wall coming into the bus stop here.
I'm sure the toe is all janky on that. That thing has got to be impossible to control.
Yeah. So we'll go back to the fight between Flaum and Watson. Watson still closing. He is right here now. Gonna make this left onto the oval.
But Flaum got a great exit on the transition there. Put some space between he and Watson. Watson will still have the draft. He'll still close down the back straightaway here. Maybe not enough to make a move.
No, but he needs to put himself in good position. Oh, he backs it. He's backing off way, way earlier than we've seen some of our other drivers.
Flaum outbroke him there by a good 2 car lengths. Well, we got a second shout out to the dude KZ53 for hanging out with us, and Salva Turkey as well. As I think we're within the pit stop window here, lap 13 up on the board for race leader Hunter Ingrave.
Here goes Watson.
P2 on the docket for Watson. Gets the pass done, a little lockup. Blocking, juking, jiving. Watson up to P2. Was leading out of turn 4 last week at Chicagoland. Ended up P3. But up to P2 here. He says he's not a road course guy. I say otherwise at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, he always produces no matter what it feels like. Maybe not wins like he would really like to, or he expects more on the ovals. But, I mean, definitely a top 3, at least top 5 at the least road course racer here in the Daredevil series.
And, in fact, to back up that point, he has been top 5 at all road course races this season.
Now, the problem is he has Hunter Engrave out in front by 10 seconds. And unless Engrave makes a massive, massive mistake, I don't think he's going to be able to reel that one in.
Austin Lafferty just had a spin out of the International Horseshoe. Was in a precarious position, but no harm, no foul. We'll get it back rolling.
Now, Watson did not get away from Flaum. Flaum does have an opportunity potentially to pass here on the oval.
Yeah, it's coming. Oh, boy. A little wide there. That's just road course racing. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Close enough. Oh, problems. Matthew Short, I think, is around in the horseshoe. I don't know if he hit anything, but, man, it was awfully close. He did lose the 4th position to Javier Mascara.
We'll take a look here. Maybe a very... Oh, and actually, he loses it before he gets to the horseshoe. He loses it on that S-curve. Does not hit anything in the process, just flies through the grass. And does lose a position, but other than that, really not a lot of harm done.
We're about to find out if we're in for a 1-stop or a 2-stop. We're on lap 14. Nobody is coming to pit yet. Are they all waiting for this lap?
Well, it seems like they're thinking that they might be able to stretch it.
It's going to be right on the number, but that's all you need.
We're at 16 to go right now, so if they can make it to next time around, which nobody's come in, so it seems like they will, should be good to go to the end. I may have been mistaken here. Flaum still trying on the outside in turn 1 again, just trying to force Watson into a mistake.
Flaum has been pushing the living daylights out of this 20. He was a little bit wide through the bus stop.
Oh, wow, and nearly had an opportunity on the inside through the horseshoe. Not quite. While these two battle, Mascara has gained about 2 seconds on them in the last couple laps here. Oh, and Flaum goes way wide. Loses a ton of ground. And that battle has subsided for now. Next top battle on the track is between Kirk Lane and Cody Claiborne. Schlosser and Christopher Kresge battling here as well. And Sean Begley, I think, may have made a mistake here because Kresge's pulled right up to the back of him.
Here comes the race leader on the pit lane, and he is absolutely sailed it onto the pits. Gonna be watching with bated breath here to see if the black flag pops up because he had them locked up. That was as aggressive as a pit entry as I've ever seen, and I think he's gotten away with it.
Everybody is coming down pit lane now. Split this thing right in half.
The call over the radio from Christopher Kresge is that everybody pitting in this time. No bother calling it out because everybody's here. They had 15.2 in the tank, and nobody wasted that extra 0.2. It looks like everybody's going to be able to make it in one stop. Pit exit here, we haven't talked about it yet. So hard. So difficult. You have to be on it.
Yeah, it's just really awkward. I mean, you can kind of get caught in a weird place. You're making a sweeping left-hander right out of pit road, just on flat, a very flat turn, but you're trying to, gain some ground if you can through it. It's just kind of weird. Oh, and Flaum goes deep here. Way deep through the horseshoe.
Wow.
Mascara's going to get around him.
Locked it up, kept it out of the barriers, though. That's the good news. But the bad news is back to fourth. Still about 4 seconds clear on Matthew Short, though.
Hey, Tommy, you know who did not come to pit that time around?
Tell me.
Ryan Dye.
Ryan Dye.
Ryan Dye is trying to go another lap.
Interesting. Should give him a lap fresher tires at the end of this thing. James Watson, I think, just went wide through the bus stop. Looking at the incident count here, only one driver into double digits right now, so nobody in danger of picking up a pass-through penalty. The dude KZ53 says it has taken a nose turn for the worse for a couple of the drivers, and I couldn't agree more.
Well, I guess these drivers had a lot more fuel than we thought they did because Ryan Dye has stayed out yet again.
Wow.
And I take it back. He is now coming in.
Okay, I was going to say, he's just out to prove us wrong. But one extra lap will do.
It looked like he was just going to keep going on the inside there. He was getting passed by Camano. I thought he was going to try to fight back, but he did pull into pit lane. So we are definitely good on fuel for the drivers that came into pit that first time around. Could apparently go 16 laps on that tank.
Hunter Engrave has had to work through a couple of lap cars and will have a couple more ahead of him. So another interesting wrinkle. The good news for him is that he has about 15 seconds to play with here. So no need to force any issues. Watson and Mascara in close proximity. Mascara inside of a second.
Of course, Mascara was in second earlier in this race and made a big mistake. Dropped back to, I believe, fifth at that point in time. He's fought his way all the way back here to have another shot at getting second.
And Flaum's big lockup in the West Horseshoe has cost him 9 seconds to Mascara. So he is well out of this battle. Oh, Watson
Oh.
wide. Mascara, clean corner there, will regain the second position. But this is where he lost it last time, into the International Horseshoe. And the lights are brighter and brighter here in the infield. Lap number 18 of 30. It is a one-stop race. Oh, Cody Claiborne has just had problems, I do believe. He has actually stopped and is going to tow back to the pits. Man.
Watson still within draft range here of second. He'll have an opportunity to close the gap. And the lights are definitely getting brighter as the sunlight gets dimmer.
You and I have seen what can happen when it gets too dark in this infield. Shouldn't have to worry about that. But for now, well illuminated around Daytona. The lights are just going to get brighter and brighter. As the battle for second is settled down here a little bit, can we go back and try and see what happened to Cody Claiborne by chance?
We certainly can. Claiborne, this is here into turn one, and oh wow, just gets crazy loose, and then there's contact. I think it was Kresge that ended up getting into him. Just through the kink or through those S turns there after turn one, just got it really loose and spun it out, and then Kresge piled right into him, just nowhere to go.
So that sucks for Claiborne, who, in my opinion, made the move of the season on the second or third lap, taking it 3 wide into turn one up the middle and making it stick.
Ryan Dye, Christian Arribas fighting for position here. Poliski was right in front of them. That would have been for position, but Dye made a little mistake. But Poliski with some breathing room now. This is for 12th between Dye and Arribas.
I'm not too sure. This isn't Steve Vroman directly behind him, but Arribas is breathing down the double zero's neck. Vroman is 1 lap down in 20th. James Watson not going away from Javier Mascara. They are still well within range of one another.
Oh, Mascara.
Oh, boy.
Little wiggle there through that one. Watson inches ever closer.
Martin Camano just made an incredible save in the horseshoe.
When you shift into fifth here, right as you come out of oval turn 2, if you're within draft range, you make up a lot of ground right there. Oh, Watson, he kind of almost cut that corner in the bus stop. He loses a ton of space there. He lost about 0.3 of a second. And it didn't seem like much of a mistake, but just something that small can create a gap like that.
Yeah, the final left side rumble strip there out of the bus stop is difficult. It is Especially if you go over it too much, it will unsettle that car like no other. As Mascara working around Austin Lafferty, ironically through the International Horseshoe. The Spaniard Mascara, Lafferty, the Scotsman, graciously yielding to our second and third place drivers, who are 16 seconds behind Hunter Engrave. Well in control of this one. Mascara, Watson on the podium. Flaum short, your top 5. Camano, Lane, Kresge, Begley, and Schlosser, your top 10 on lap number 21.
And Christian Arribas has crashed just past the bus stop. Him and Ryan Dye have been fighting for that 12th position for a long time. But he is a good 10 seconds behind Dye now. So some much-needed breathing room for Ryan Dye.
Oh, Christopher Kresge's gone around in the West Horseshoe.
Man,
looks like no harm, no foul.
Him and Schlosser had been battling for a good 5 or 6 laps as well. So a couple of the biggest battles on the track have now ended due to self-incidents.
Still 10 to go. Still plenty of time to right the ship.
And that was a replay of Kresge's little spin there. He just kind of went too wide into that West Horseshoe. He tried to really crank the wheel, and those rear tires just could not hold up.
So Mascara and Watson are still close together. Now Matthew Short is tracking down Zachary Flaum. That could be a battle here within the next couple of laps. It'd be the battle for 4th.
Ryan Dye is now tracked back into Andy Poliski in the 32. Poliski had a pretty good gap off of a couple of mistakes from Dye, and Dye has now put in some good laps, has closed right back in.
And we'll have the draft here into turn 1.
Dye to the inside here.
Try not to overshoot it. Oh, Poliski a little bit wide. Will be able to swing back. But Dye, great defensive line there into turn 1, and we'll get the pass for 11th done. Sounds like Vroman and Engrave just came close to tangling into turn 1. But Engrave has gotten through without losing too much time. I will say the lap times have stabilized between Engrave and Mascara. The problem is Mascara is 16 seconds behind Engrave. A tenth or here and there is not going to do a whole lot.
Especially with only 8 laps to go here.
Yes. But
Good
Mascara
battle here.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Schlosser and Begley. Schlosser around the outside. Through the front stretch. He's able to make the pass on the outside here in turn 1.
Incredible move. It'll get him the 8th spot.
He has his hands full here, though. Begley right back to it.
Awesome to have Sean Begley back in the field here tonight. It's been a couple of weeks. 59 might get a top 10 out of it if he keeps plugging away. Matt Schlosser made his debut last week. He'll be a regular in the ASRL Southern Shores Realty Sports Car Championship. That'll be started up here in a few weeks. Running some Daredevil races in the meantime.
Well, I think road courses in this car, I think it's pretty good practice for some high-speed action. It makes you have to really think quickly on your toes there for the sports car season they'll have coming up.
We just had Paul Ellison whip a quick 360, and now he's gotten together with Javier Mascara. The second-place runner is off the track.
Oh, and I think he's damaged bad. He's towing He's jumped to the pits.
Oh, my. I say the last half lap, Ellison spun, is now close to cleaning out James Watson there. Watson going to get through. He will assume the second position, maybe not the way he wanted.
Ellison goes around. He's trying to get this thing turned around. That's just after the bus stop. I didn't quite see where Mascara comes into the picture here.
Well, this happened in turn 1, so...
Oh, and Ellison, I think, was just trying to stay wide there. And Mascara, I'm not sure it was really communicated what was happening. I want to go cockpit view here with Mascara to see what he saw from Ellison. Yeah, and I think Ellison was just trying to give him room. He slowed way down on the outside, and I think that's just the line that Mascara wanted. Didn't realize just how slow the 55 was moving.
And Javier had absolutely sent it there.
And again, I know I say this all the time, but until you try to do it, it's hard to comprehend just how difficult it is to slow down in these cars. Here goes Kirk Lane under Schlosser.
We'd been watching Begley and Schlosser battle. Begley got the best of it in the end. And now Schlosser going to lose a spot to Kirk Lane, maybe.
Maybe Schlosser's fighting back on the outside. What a power move. Oh, and he sails it in.
Loose, loose, loose. The 400 hangs on to the car, but will lose the 7th position. We got Hunter Leach in the chat, thanking us for the broadcast. Thanks for coming out, partner. Great to see ya. Boy, this track has 11 turns, but many more twists and turns throughout this race have really shook up this lineup. Engrave leading Watson and Flaum. Short Camano is back in the top 5 after all that. Well, problems for Corey Rutherford. I think he has picked up some terminal damage on that car through the bus stop. Oh, yeah, that thing is all yawed out.
Oh, my.
Yes, big problems. So just trying to limp this one back to pit road. Christian Arribas has gone around close to where Hunter Engrave was, but we'll bring it back on the track. I think Arribas has fallen victim to Engrave. So that should leave 11 cars on the lead lap here, all the way back to Andy Poliski.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, Matt Short seemed like he was catching Zach Flaum. That has kind of stalled out here. Still over 2 seconds behind Zach Flaum right now. And they've just been kind of dead even with each other. Now, Camano has been catching Matt Short.
Yes, he has.
Only 4 laps to go, though, so not much time. Camano's really going to have to put the pedal to the metal here. He wants to try to make that happen, especially not within drafting range right now. But if he gets within about 0.8 of a second, he's got to get about another second on Short. He might have an opportunity here towards the end of the race.
I think the last couple of laps, Camano is closed enough to challenge for that 4th position when it's all said and done. We'll see what Matthew Short has for defense here in the closing laps. But it's been a spectacular drive back through the field for the 27. Much to the to the joy of the folks watching here tonight, all rooting on Martin Camano.
Schlosser and Kirk Lane are still going at it here.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Schlosser,
Oh, Lane a little wide there.
Schlosser just will not go away, much to the dismay of the 81 of Kirk Lane.
And as they battle away and will continue to battle here, Sean Bagley in front of them is starting to put some space between he and Lane and Schlosser. As here goes the 400, taking a peek to the inside. Oh boy, awfully tight there.
Awfully
Schlosser.
tight there. Ryan Dye and Poliski are battling as well. We'll stick with this one. This is for 7th between Schlosser and Lane. I think Schlosser will have the advantage here. Wow, what a battle.
Fantastic stuff. But once they hit 5th gear, advantage Lane. He's going to go back to the outside. And we'll try and outbrake Schlosser.
So we'll flip-flop again. Lane to 7th, Schlosser to 8th.
And in front of them, Sean Bagley, what I was going to point out there before they started going at it in the infield. Bagley up 14 positions from where he started. Far and away the hard charger here tonight. Hoping he can hang on to that 6th.
Oh, Madison Bowen's in the chat.
Oh, boy.
This feels like she's listening to PRN.
I hope that's a good
Schlosser!
thing. Oh, no! Schlosser around into turn 1. We'll have some time to get that car whipped back around. Going to lose the position there to Christopher Kresge. So Schlosser back to 9th.
Schlosser was going for that same outside move there in turn 1 that he's been trying all night, and just couldn't keep it together that time. Poliski and Dye still going at it back here for 10th as well.
2 laps to go at the line for Hunter Engrave. Martin Camano is just within draft range, I do believe, of Matthew Short. Short is tantalizingly close to Zachary Flaum, but Camano is closer to him.
And I think Flaum may have made a bit of a mistake. Flaum is backed up to Short a bit here.
Yep, about a second and a half. Oh, problems for Joshua Rutherford. Close to the transition, but we'll bring it back onto the track. I think he did hit the wall, though. So hopefully he can finish this one out.
Track getting awfully dark here. We only have about a lap and a half to go, though.
Road course racing under the lights. You don't get to see it all that much with cars without headlights. As Christopher Kresge has gone around. I don't think he hit anything, though. And yes, no headlights on the Lotus 79, believe it or not.
Oh, Schlosser! He's
Oh,
off track
no.
again. He was tracking down Christopher Kresge.
He's still got about 20 seconds to play with. So,
He
not
just
worried
wants
about
this one
losing
to
a
be
spot.
over at this point.
Yes. White flag. Hunter Engrave.
And I feel like we
20
haven't given
seconds.
Engrave much love.
Oh,
on the
Zachary
broad-
Flaum has crashed through the bus stop. Flaum is in 5th now. Getting the car rolling. Unbelievable. Last lap fortunes for him last week at Chicagoland. And all the fortunes have set with the sun for driver number 20.
And the rumble strips on the bus stop, the exit of the bus stop, have struck again.
Man.
This time it was Zach Flaum, goes from 3rd to 5th with just over a lap to go.
Shocking turn of events. Flaum still rolling. That moves Camano up to 4th. Short up to 3rd. Camano might have a battle for the podium here in the last lap.
He's getting awfully close.
He might take a shot at this on the oval. But up front, through oval turns 3 and 4, he was a winner at Lime Rock Park in round number 2 of the season. He was a winner earlier this week in a Truck 200 competition. And now, in round number 8 of the 3rd season of the Daredevil series, it's career victory number 2 for Hunter Engrave. James Watson, 20 seconds behind, will finish in 2nd.
Camano still closing.
Camano, he's within draft range. He's going to have to close up in a hurry. And he is. Will he have enough time? It's Matthew Short in 3rd. Is he going to stay there? Yes, he is. A brilliant drive for Camano, but 1 short of the podium. Matthew Short, in his 3rd start of the season, takes his 2nd podium. That is his 5th career 3rd place finish.
Wow, and I think if that was Talladega, Camano definitely could have had that one.
Oh, for sure. Zachary Flaum across the line. What will be a disappointing 5th place finish for him. Sean Begley plus 14. 20th to 6th. Kirk Lane, Christopher Kresge, Matt Schlosser, and Ryan Dye right now trying to hang on to the last spot in the top 10. He and Poliski are going to battle all the way down to the line.
Poliski has been all over the back of the 200. He is here again.
They're blocking. Hit him with the line.
They're rubbing. They're rubbing. They're tugging. It's going to be Andy Poliski with the top 10.
Wow. Poliski, by 2/1000ths of a second at the line, is going to steal the top 10 from Ryan Dye. Wow. Incredible stuff here by the drivers of the Daredevil series. I think the celebration is still going on. 2 minutes after he took the checkers, Hunter Engrave is still burning them down.
Engrave still burning it down. He knew that we had some battles throughout the field, so he had to keep the celebration moving so he could have it on the broadcast.
Well, we just went through our top 11 finishers, so we'll breeze through this one and tell you where everybody else is finished. It's Engrave, Watson, Short, Camano, and Flaum, your top 5. Begley, Lane, Kresge, Schlosser, Poliski, your top 10. Ryan Dye, the last car in the lead lap in 11th. Joshua Rutherford will hang on to a 12th place finish. Austin Lafferty will finish in 13th. Paul Ellison in 14th. Cristiano Ribas, 15th. Steve Roman in 16th. Peter Donchak in 17th. Corey Rutherford in 18th. And then it is DNFs from here on out. And, man, it's 4 drivers that were looking good in this race at various points. Javier Mascara wrecks out from 2nd. Cody Claiborne was up in the top 3 at one point. He will finish now at 20th. Dakota DeMaine was in the top 5. He'll finish in 21st. And Isidro on lap number 2 of the race will finish in 22nd. It is about that time. It's podium interview time. If I can figure out where I am at. There we go. Wow. Another P3 finish for Matthew Short. He's 2 for 3 on the seasons for podiums. Welcome to the booth, partner. You didn't give us a pick this week. Were you picking yourself? Was that the sign?
Oh, no, I was picking Hunter Engrave, so,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my pick, so, I got that one.
So you're 1 for 8 now in the season. That's good news. But you're 2 for 3 on podium finishes. Man, a lot of twists and turns throughout the night, but it seemed like you being in the top 5 was a sure bet all night long. How did it feel out there?
I definitely wouldn't use the word sure bet. I was definitely hanging on out there. These things are tricky here. I'm normally pretty good with these things here on road courses, but I was definitely struggling tonight. I'm scared of that center pedal on this car. I don't know how some of these guys were sending so much speed on entry, so I was just completely focusing on an exit, and that's what kept me alive the entire race. But basically, that was my MO, except that weird half spin that I had coming out of the little squiggly bit out of T1. I don't know why the rear end just snapped on me, but it did.
That's what I was going to ask, is if you got in the grass there through the rumble strips, or if it just came around on you.
It just came around. I don't know if I was just sliding through that whole thing and just barely hanging on. It felt planted, so I'm not entirely sure why, but at the end of the day, it's still a third place, so no harm, no foul.
Oh, for sure. Matt, what do you got?
Well, congrats on the P3. Like Tommy said, you've put together a couple here now. Looking forward to hopefully having you here for more races here before the end of the season. Did you have any trouble on the exit of the bus stop? Because we saw just about half the field go around on that exit, that left rumble strip there. Did you have any troubles around that area?
Oh, absolutely. But honestly, I think it's not even these cars. I just think for whatever reason, iRacing has that whole section modeled, or maybe it is realistic, just something about that whole area. You don't even have to be on the rumble strip. You could be away from the rumble strip, and just for some reason, and no matter what you drive, the rear end just refuses to cooperate. So coming out back onto the oval is a game of who's got the biggest balls to get on the accelerator harder, faster.
Well, I'd say you. No, never mind. That was going to come out weird. You got the P3 here tonight. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to say hi to?
As usual, TWR guys. I know you're going to get James Watson in here in a little bit. Stowe Motorsports guys, Race First, all them. Just honestly, like, my normal thing is this whole community. You two, Turn 200 is a great, great little community that's been created. So thank you to you guys mostly.
Well, thank you for racing with us. Thank you for continuing to get good finishes so we could talk to you at the end of the night as well. It's always a treat, and hoping for many more here down the stretch.
Definitely. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. You too, partner. All righty. James Watson back on the podium again. Multiple races in a row, this time on the left and rights. Welcome back up to the booth. Do you feel like you've survived sort of a carnival madhouse here tonight?
Yeah. Wow, that was... it got pretty sketchy out there. The car was not easy to drive at times. You know, the low downforce you need to run at here, it sure made some of the corners really interesting. Corner entry trying to keep from locking up, corner exit trying to keep from spinning out. There were some bumps on the inside curves of the bus stop that if you hit them, just like really upset your car. Like you could feel it jump off the ground. So yeah, it was an accomplishment just to finish tonight, honestly.
And you were running around, I mean, in the top 5 pretty much all race, but it's also, around multiple different people who all found their way out of the race, or at least out of the picture for a podium here tonight. I mean, what's the challenges of trying to prepare yourself to go to battle with so many different people for the same spot over and over again?
Yeah, well, the big thing is just, try to maintain a level of self-preservation at all times. Like, a lot of good battling for a podium is going to do if you end up killing yourself. So, just trying to stay calm, not try to get too much, and ultimately just keep the car on the track as priority number 1, and letting the chips fall where they may. And I caught some good breaks with other people's misfortune. You never try to root for that. You're always sad when you see it, but that's how it goes sometimes.
It is indeed. Matt, what do you got for James?
Congrats on the P2. Hunter Engrave was so fast. I mean, once you were finally up to second, was it just a matter of kind of coasting a little bit? Since there was a large margin to get the first.
Yeah, I don't think I had the even in practice of like my best laps. I was still like off of his time, so it wasn't realistic to catch him. And like I said, with how sketchy the car was at times, like once Javier had his misfortune and I saw I had the 10-second gap to third, I just was putting around and just making sure I brought it home. That's the most important thing.
Well, you brought it home, and you brought it home on the podium again. You're walking away with an extended points lead after tonight. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
I gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank Chris Graham of the National Racing Network, ZAS Designs and Dizzy V Designs for doing my paint schemes, Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel, and my folks at home for watching.
Another great run for you. Keep it up. We'll be talking to you again here soon.
Yeah, here's hoping. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty. Now it is time for your race winner to enter Booth 200. He is driver number 7, Hunter Engrave. It's his second career Daredevil Series win. It's his second win this week here on the channel. I'll have to dig through the record book here tonight, but I think you're the first driver ever to win 2 races in a week here on the channel. So congrats on all the good work this week and tonight, man. This from talking to the other drivers, this car sounded like it was an absolute handful.
Yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, car was just very touchy. Like, you touch the brake, it wanted to lock up always, or get on the gas, or just steer just a little harder or something. Just try to jerk the car at all. It would just didn't feel right at all. And then you couldn't use like the curbs at all tonight at all. It just would just bounce, and then you would spin out and all that. And the bus stop, I think, was probably the worst turn of them all. It just didn't handle very well at all. Like, you had to go so cautious through there.
Now you got into lap traffic fairly early in this race, right after the pit stop, I do believe. Were you since you had so much of a gap to manage time with, were you trying to pick your spots really carefully to make your way through lap traffic, or were you just blasting through?
Yeah, I was taking my time because I usually get kind of the bad luck of lap traffic, and it's no one's fault, but usually someone's just not looking at the second, and I usually get dinged or something. So I was just trying to take my time because I had a big gap and everything, so I just was managing my time, and the lap cars just moved out of my way, and I really do appreciate that. That makes it a lot easier for me, and just even the other competitors, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, it was just taking my time because I had the big enough gap.
Matt, what do you got for Hunter?
Congrats on another win this week. I'm sure you came into tonight with maybe a little more confidence that you came into Monday night, but the result is the same nonetheless. When you know that the car is going to behave the way that it did here tonight, and you kind of pretty much knew in practice that you were probably the fastest out here, does it kind of change your game plan at all, or did you kind of know that that's the way it was going to go here?
Yeah, I just know some people sandbag in practice, so my goal was just to try to get out of the draft right away was the key point, I think, in the race. Once you can get out of the draft, I think you just run your own pace, and I think you'll be very good.
I'd say you were pretty good, and you did get out of the draft rather quickly, so some great driving here in the first couple laps, and as well the rest of the night to stay out of trouble, because I think you and James were about the only people that could say that they didn't really find any trouble at any point tonight. So congrats on another win here. Anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to shout out my mom, my dad, Dakota, my sister, and then Riley, and then CJ, and then I think it's Daniel Brown. They all watch me every single week for my races, so just a huge shout out to them for always watching and supporting me.
You got your second win on the season. Closing stretch here of just a few more races to go. I know you've had some terrible luck here this season, and anybody that has watched more than a couple of races that you haven't won knows what kind of crap luck that you've had. But What are your aspirations here for the rest of the season? Do you think a championship rally here is in play?
I really hope so, but I need a little luck to go my way. Some of the ovals have not gone my luck when it comes down to fuel strategy. I usually get kind of stuck in the mix of things, but yeah, I just need a little luck. The gap, I wish it was a little bit closer. James has got a good gap and everything, but at least it got cut down a little bit tonight, but I still think he's a race ahead of me. So I need just kind of get ahead of him is the main goal.
Well, you're doing all the right things, and hopefully the luck will come your way here in the next few weeks. But congrats here on the P1, and hope to talk to you again here soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Alrighty, there's your winner for the second time this season, for the second time in his young career here with the Daredevil series. Hunter Engrave back on top here tonight at the Daytona road course. Lights are fully on around Daytona now. It is a calm night now that all the race cars have left the track. Matt Williamson, man, a lot of crazy racing, a lot of bonsai moves, lots of blocking on the last lap. I don't know what more you can want.
Man, I think there might have been just as much action here tonight as there was at Bristol last night. I mean, my goodness. Not something that I necessarily expected. I knew it would be high octane here at Daytona, but man, we saw really, really great battles throughout the field, and a couple that just burned for almost 30 laps straight and never stopped. So we really got a treat here tonight.
And for sure, a couple of drivers will end up getting a treat as well in the form of another entry into the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge pot. 3 drivers, in fact, did the unthinkable tonight and finished on the lead lap with a 0X. Those drivers were Sean Bagley, Andy Poliski, and Ryan Dye. So that's 4 entries for Dye. I think that's the first entry for Poliski. Not sure about Bagley. He may have one already. Yeah, it's good on them, because this was not easy here tonight, especially for Dye and Poliski. They really could have thrown that one away on the last lap.
Most certainly.
Who was hanging out with us here tonight?
Well, we had a lot of people hanging out with us here tonight. We had Corey Rutherford here really early on. Of course, he was in the race. Didn't have a great finish like he was hoping. I think he finished around 18th. Flagman was here. Ale Pedas, Salva Turkey, the dude KZ, Kyle Zittle, Hunter Leach, and Madison Bowen were all in the chat. And I see there was a little bit of discourse about how much better we are than PRN, according to Kyle Zittle. So we appreciate that.
I would like a job at PRN, so, hit me up. But that's another discussion for another day. This was a great race here tonight, and expecting more of the same next week. Short track racing back inbounds for the Daredevil series. We are at Iowa, under the lights again for 100 laps around the 7/8 mile short track. That is going to be a whole lot of fun. Something we have not talked a lot about in the Daredevil series. Dirty Air could be very much in play next week at Iowa. In the meantime, tomorrow night, the Maximum Velocity Racing League is at Chicagoland. Monday night, we open things up for season number 2 of Truck 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway. And Tuesday night, we're back to the left and rights, this time with the Venom Truck Series. It is at Watkins Glen. And, of course, next week, Iowa. Be here. The best way you can make your sure that you are here is to hit the subscribe button and the like on the stream on your way out. Flood the algorithm with us here at Turn 200. We want nothing more than your infinite attention. We thank you for hanging out with us here tonight, wherever you are. Glad that you're safe. Glad that you're watching us here on Turn 200. Until we meet again, for everybody with the Daredevil series, for everybody with Turn 200, for the GOAT, Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. We are saying so long from the virtual World Center of Racing, where Hunter Engrave stands tall for the second time in his Daredevil series career.